श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथामृतं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगण ललिता श्रीविशाखामृतांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिने नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत वेदांत श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे सर्वशास्त्रादिपीयूष सर्ववेदैक सत्फला सर्वसिद्धांत रत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैक तत्प्रदा सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद् भागवत प्रभो कलिध्वांतोदितादित्य श्री कृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानंद पाठाय प्रेम वर्षक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्री कृष्णाय नमस्तुते मदैक बंधो मत्संगी मद्गुरो मन्महाधना मन्निस्तारक मद्भाग्य मदानंद नमस्तुते साधु साधुतादाय नतिनिचोच्चताकर पानमुच्चकरा चिन्मां प्रेम्णा हृत्कण्ठयो स्फुरा ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओके 19 यत्सेवया भगवतः कूटस्थस्य मधुदुषः रतिरासो भवेत् तीव्रः पादयोर्व्यसनार्दि व्यसनार्दनः. By serving the feet of the spiritual master, one is able to develop transcendental ecstasy in the service of the personality of Godhead, who is the unchangeable enemy of the Madhu demon, and whose service vanquishes one's material distresses. Yet Sevaya refers to by serving whom, but since he has accepted Sri Maitreya as a spiritual master, Prabhupada renders this as by serving the feet of the spiritual master. मधुद्विषः पादयोः रतिरासः प्रेमोत्सवः तीव्रः दुर्वारः स्वाभाविकः. By engaging in a service to a person like you, then uh, the naturally intense and unavoidable festivity of love of Godhead will come about. Attachment in different relationships. Ratirasah, Premotsavah. Vyasanam samsaram ardayati nashayati iti tasa. And such service to the Lord, it destroys samsara. It destroys one's experience of the cycle of birth and rebirth. Prapancha pratiti paranodana matram kiyat. What kind of um, understanding is this regarding this material world, that which destroys the false conceptions pertaining to material existence, that is brought out here. Yataha. Yat sevaya iti vyasanardhana iti anushangika eva asau yasya guna iti artha. This is simply an incidental fruit. By meditating on the Lord's qualities, then one attains all of this incidentally. Bhagavad Janasevaya kim ashakyam इत्याह यद्यति भगवतः कूटस्थस्य भगवत्वेनैव सर्वकालव्यापिनः एकरूपतया तु यः कालव्यापी स कूटस्थ इत्यमरः. मधुर्दिशः मधुसूदनस्य मधोभिव भक्तसंसारस्य नाशयितुं पादयः रत्या भावभक्त्या रासकः विभावादि संयोग उत्थः शान्तदास्यादि रससमूहः तीव्रः स्वमाधुर्येण प्राकृताप्राकृतः सर्वं माधुर्य उपमर्दी तेन अप्रतीति परत्व नोदनम् idam kiyanmatram bhava. It is not a big deal to become free from this false perception of material existence, because when one attains such intense service to the unchangeable Supreme Lord, he is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He never changes his nature at any point in time. He is able to destroy the experience of material life for his devotee, the way he destroyed the demon Madhu. So by rati, or attraction to his lotus feet, which indicates that when one has attained bhava bhakti, then one then attains the various rasas, shanta rasa, dasya rasa, etc. by a combination of the various ingredients of rasa. The combinations of various ingredients of rasa we already studied in the second part of Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu and Nectar of Devotion. And that is very intense, tivraha, which means that it can destroy, it can neutralize all other forms of sweetnesses, material sweetnesses or spiritual sweetnesses. So then what is the big deal about becoming free from this false conception of material existence? Is nothing. The association of a bona fide spiritual master like the sage Maitreya can be of absolute help in achieving transcendental attachment for the direct service of the Lord. The Lord is the enemy of the Madhu demon, or in other words, he is the enemy of the suffering of his pure devotee. The word rati rasaha is significant in this verse. Service to the Lord is rendered in different transcendental mellows, relationships, neutral, active, friendly, parental, and nuptial. A living entity in the liberated position of transcendental service to the Lord becomes attracted to one of the above mentioned mellows. And when one is engaged in transcendental loving service to the Lord, one's service attachment in the material world is automatically vanquished. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Rasavarjam Rasopyasya Param Drishtva Nivartate. Okay. 20. Durapahya alpatapasah seva vaikuntha vartmasu yatropagiyate nityam devadevo janardanaha. Persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees progressing on the path back to the kingdom of Godhead, the Vaikunthas. Pure devotees engage 100% in glorifying the Supreme Lord, who is the Lord of the demigods and the controller of all living entities. Aho durlabham praptam maya ityaha. Oh, what a, a rare achievement I have got. Astonished with this astonishment, he conveys this verse. Durapa, durlabha. वैकुंठस्य विष्णोः तल्लोकस्य वा वर्त्मसु मार्गभूतेषु महत्सु यत्र येषु महत्सेवया हरिकथाश्रवणं ततः हरो प्रेम तेन च देहाद्यनुसन्धानमपि निवर्तते इति तात्पर्यम्. Through service to these great souls who are progressing on the path back to the kingdom of God, the Vaikunthas, one attains Harikatha Shravanam. One hears Harikatha. Then he develops love for Lord Hari, by which one completely even forgets about one's body and whatever is related to the body. All of that goes away. This is what he intends to convey here. Moreover, sa iyam mahat seva eva ati durlabha ityaha. This very service to these great souls like you is extremely rare. He conveys this in this verse. Alpa tapasaha iti lokaritya uktihi mahat sevayaha tat krapaikalabhyattvena tapahpala tva abhavat. He says, persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of the pure devotees. Alpa tapasaha. Now, this is simply his reflection of something which is commonly said in the world. Because service to these great souls can only be attained by the mercy of those very great souls. It is not the result of any type of austerity. Vaikunthasya vartmabhuteshu tad bhakteshu nityam sadhana sadhya avasthayam. The pathway to Vaikuntha refers to the devotee of the Lord of Vaikuntha. So the pathways to Vaikuntha are the devotees of the Lord of Vaikuntha. They are glorified. Now, on that pathway, they glorify the Lord of the Lords, Lord Janardana. And they glorify him constantly, always. Sadhana sadhya avasthayam, both in the stage of sadhana and in the stage of sadhya, under both circumstances. The path of liberation recommended by all authorities is to serve the Mahatmas or transcendentalists. As far as the Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the Mahatmas are the pure devotees who are on the path to Vaikuntha, the kingdom of God, and who always chant and hear the glories of the Lord rather than talk of dry, profitless philosophy. This system of association has been recommended since time immemorial, but in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, it is especially recommended by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even if one has no assets of favorable austerity, if one nevertheless takes shelter of the Mahatmas engaged in the pure devotional service of chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord, one is sure to make progress on the path back home, back to Godhead. 21. सृष्ट्वाग्रे महदादीनि स विकाराण्यनुक्रमा तेभ्यो विराजमुद्धृत्य तम अनुप्राविशत् विपुः. After creating the total material energy, the Mahatattva, and thereby manifesting the gigantic universal form with senses and sense organs, the Supreme Lord entered within it. Oh, what the previous verse, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has quoted from Adi Purana. Those who claim to be my devotees are not my devotees, O Arjuna. The devotees of my devotees are my devotees. He is also referred to 11th canto. Also the famous statement in Padma Purana Uttarakhanda, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiyanam Samarchanam. Okay, here, this verse, 21. Vipuhu agre savikarani mahadadini anukrama tebhyaha udhritya virajam srishtva tam anu pravishyat. Okay, that is how the prose works. Arthantaram prashtam taduktam anuvadati trivih. Before asking question about another subject, he first repeats what has been stated in 3 verses. After the gigantic universal form was created with the senses and sense organs. Udhritya tadam shaihi virajam srishtva. He took portions from the elements and created the gigantic universal form. Fully satisfied by the answers of the sage Maitreya, Vidura wanted to understand the remaining portions of the creative function of the Lord, and he took the clue from the previous topics. 22. Yamahuradhyam purusham sahasryangyurubahukam yatra vishva ime lokas vikasham ta asate. Did I do? I think I. Okay, the Purusha incarnation lying on the causal ocean is called the original Purusha in the material creations. And in his Virat form, in whom all the planets and their inhabitants live, he has many thousands of legs, thighs, and hands. The right verse. Wait, wait, wait. But I need to read these portions also. Tadevam Kritagati Ulasena Purvashruta Lila Vasheshin Prakshati. Vijay is asking about the pastime of creation, because he's in a state of ecstasy, because his questions are answered, he's fully satisfied. Pravishtasya Rupamaha. The form of the Lord who has entered is now being specified. The Purusha incarnation lying on the causal ocean is called the original Purusha in the material creations. And in his Virat form, in whom all the planets and their inhabitants live, he has many thousands of legs, thighs, and hands. Te ime vishve sarve lokaha savikasham asankochena. Yam karnarnave garbhodake cha shayinam. This refers to the Lord who's lying in the Karana ocean and the Garbha ocean. Yam Karanarnava Shayinam Vishve Sarve Sam Asate Tad Roma Vileshu Eva Sarvo Brahmandanam Satvat. Taking this to refer to the Karnodakashayi Vishnu, all the universes are present in his Romabila, in the pores of his hairs. The first Purusha is Karnodakashayi Vishnu. The second Purusha is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. And the third Purusha is Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, in whom is contemplated the Virat Purusha, the gigantic form in which all the planets with their different developments and inhabitants are floating. 23. Yasmin Dashavidah Prana, Tendriyarthendriyas Trivrit, Tvayerito Yato Varnas, Tad Vibhutir Vadaswana. Oh, great Brahmana, you've told me that the gigantic Virat form and its senses, sense objects, and 10 kinds of life air exist with 3 kinds of life bigger. Now, if you will kindly explain to me the different powers of the specific divisions. Prana adayah pancha, naga adayah pancha, iti evam dashavedha. 10 kinds of life air. Prana, Apana, and so on. And Naga, Krikara, and so on. Indriyanicha. Then there are the senses. Arthaha cha indriyanicha iti punaruktihi tad devata lakshana artha tatsahitaha. This also includes the devatas, presiding deities for the senses, sense objects, and so on. Sarva upabrimha katvat pranasya tatsahityam. Prana is said to be along with all of this because it is what is enlivening the functioning of all these other items. Evam trivvidhaha pranaha vaya irita uttaha. So in this way, you have spoken about 3 kinds of life vigor. Tasya vibhutihi brahmadya visarga shabdavachya Now explain to me the different powers of the specific divisions, which means explain to me about the different features of his prowess, such as Brahma, who are referred to by the word Visarga. Tatra taduktam anuvadati yasmin virat rupe. This is also a repetition of what he has already heard. Kimcha yasmin samashti viraji indriyartha Vishaya Indriyani Chetai Sahitaha Trivrit Saha Ojo Balatvena Trividha. Prana is said to be of three kinds. Saha, Oja, Bala. Saha is the capacity to tolerate. Ojas is one kind of prowess. Bala is strength. Life vigor, as Prabhupada says. Yata eva varnaha yad vishesha eva vipradyaha. And in this way, the different varnas come about. ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय वैश्य शूद्र अथ तस्य परमेश्वरस्य विभूतिः प्रजापत्याद्याः. So explain to me the different powers of the specific divisions of the Supreme Lord. This refers to the various Prajapatis and all, and so on. 24. Yatra putraischa pautraischa naptribhi sah gotra jaish praja vichitra kritaya asan yabhir ridam tatam. Oh my Lord, I think those powers manifested in the form of sons, grandsons, and family members are spread all over the universe in different varieties and species. Yatra, Yasu, Idam Vishwam, Tatam, Vyaptam, spread, Yata iti, Naptruphi, Dauhitraihi, grandsons, Yatra, Yasu, Gochu, Naptruphi, Dauhitraihi. Let me also keep checking whether this is the answer which I said anything. Okay. Prajapati Namsa 25. Prajapati Namsa Patish Chaklipe Khan Prajapatin Sargams Chaivan Sargams Cham Manon Manmantarathipan. For learned Brahmana, please describe how the leader of all the demigods, namely Prajapati Brahma, decided to establish the various Manus, the heads of the ages. Please also describe those Manus and their descendants. Evametat Puraprishto Maitreyo Bhagavan Kila. इति परीक्षित प्रश्न उत्तरतया विदुर मैत्रेय संवाद प्रस्तावितः. Parikshit had asked in 3.1.1 questions which are answered through the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. This is how the subject was introduced. अतः तानेव विदुरेण कृतान् प्रश्नानाः यावत् समाप्ति. And therefore, the questions of Vidura are now set out until the end of this chapter. प्रजापतीनां पतिः ब्रह्मा इत्यादीनां वर्णय इति वक्ष्यमाणेन अन्वयः चक्लिपे कल्पयत् सर्गान् नवविधान्. So in this way, he brought about, Lord Brahma brought about 9 generations. Anusargams tadbhedan. 9 generation means 9 phases of creation. There are also various sub-phases within them. The human race or Manushya Sara descends from the Manu's sons and grandsons of Prajapati Brahma. The descendants of Manu reside in all the different planets and rule all over the universe. (26) Uparyadhascha ye loka bhumir mitratmaja sate tesham samstham pramanam cha bhurlokasya cha varnaya. O son of Mitra, kindly describe how the planets are situated above the earth as well as underneath it, and also please mention their measurement as well as that of the earthly planets. These questions belong to the same category as the questions that Parikshit asked in the second canto. Nivesham, samstha. Please describe the situation of the planets, which means the arrangement of the planets. 27. Okay. Kasminno bhagavo vidyate sarvamidam vidyatam bhavati iti Upanishad 1.3. This Vedic hymn declares emphatically that the devotee of the Lord knows everything material and spiritual in relationship with the Lord. Devotees are not simply emotional, as is ill-conceived by certain less intelligent men. Their direction is practical. They know everything that is and all the details of the Lord's domination over the different creations. Tiryang manusha devanam sarisripa patatrinam vadanah sargasam vyuham garbha sweda vijodbhidam. Also, please describe the living entities under different classifications. Subhumans, humans, demigods, reptiles, those born of the embryo, those born of perspiration, those who are twice born, birds, and the plants and vegetables. Kindly describe their generations and subdivisions also. Sarganam samvyuham samvibhagam. Garbhasveda vijodbhitam. Garbhaha jarayujaha. Svedacha dvabhyam cha jataha. Sveda vijaha. Bhidascha udhiraha cha tesham. So there are those who are born from the embryo. There are born, some form born from perspiration. Some are born twice. And then there are others who are born from seeds like plants, vegetables. Svedacha andacha dvabhyam jata svedajah krimi damshadaya dvijah pakshinaha. There are some who are born from perspiration and from an egg. The ones who are born from perspiration are worms, certain types of insects. The twice born refer to birds. The udbidham, that refer to trees, shrubs, and so on, plants, vegetables. 28. Gunavatare Vishwasya Sargasthityaprayashrayam Srijata Srinivasasya Vyachaksho Daravikramam. Please also describe the incarnations of the material modes of nature, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. And please describe the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead along with his magnanimous activities. Sargadin Ashrayam Srijataha. The Supreme Lord is the one who creates the shelter of the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the universe. 1 minute. Right. Gunavatarai Virinchi Vishnu Haraihi Vishwasya Sargasthityape Ashrayam Srishtisthiti Prayanam Ashrayam Srijataha Kurvataha Srinivasasya Bhagavataha Udara Vikramam Mahatim Leelam Vyachakshva Varayam. Okay, question.
Prabhuji, some people nowadays they say that there is a certain kind of egg which does not produce the bird. So we should, means they say that we can eat it. It should not fall under non-veg because it cannot produce life. So is their claim all right?
It's a menstrual byproduct, tamasic.
Mhm.
First of all, those eggs are actually sterilized. Therefore, they do not produce life. When the eggs come, they sterilize, like they sterilize almonds and all those things that come from California, that it should not again sprout, come to the life. So similarly, they do with the egg also.
Genetically modified.
No, sterilized. They do like in the egg, the bird does not come immediately.
And so it is not genetically modified, but it is modified.
Yeah, it is modified.
Tamasic fellows, they have to always fiddle with nature.
Otherwise, intrinsically, all eggs produce lives, but because they sterilize it, therefore it does not.
Okay, purport. Although Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, the three incarnations of the material modes of nature, are the principal deities for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the cosmic manifestation, they are not the final authority. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the ultimate goal, the cause of all causes. He is the ashraya, or the final rest of everything. (29) वर्णाश्रम विभागांश्च रूपशील स्वभावतः ऋषीणां जन्म कर्माणि वेदस्य च विकर्षणम्. रूपम लिंगम शीलम आचारः स्वभावः शम आदिः ततः विकर्षणम विभागम. So the divisions and orders of human society are based on Rupa, Shila, and Swabhava. Rupa refers to identifying characteristics. Personal features refer to identifying characteristics. Shilam refers to behavior. Swabhava refers to qualities such as being peaceful and so on. Shilam and Swabhava comprise character. So in terms of symptoms, behavior, and characteristics of mental equilibrium and sense control. सर्गादीन तेषामपि आश्रयं प्रजापत्यादिरूपं च सृजितः पूर्वतः. रूपं लिंगं शीलम् आचारः स्वभावः शमादि तैर्विकर्षणो विभागः. Okay. The four statuses and orders of human society, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, as well as Brahmacharis, Grihasthas, Vanaprasthas, and Sannyasis, are all divided according to quality, education, culture, and spiritual advancement attained by practicing control of the mind and the senses. All these divisions are based on the particular nature of each individual person, not on the principle of birth. Birth is not mentioned in this verse because birth is immaterial. Vidura is famous in history as being born of a Shudrani mother, yet he is more than a Brahmana by qualification because he is seen here to be the disciple of a great sage, Maitreya Muni. Unless one achieves at least the Brahmanical qualifications, one cannot understand the Vedic hymns. The Mahabharata is also a division of the Vedas, but it is meant for women, Shudras, and Vijabandhus, the worthless children of the higher section. The less intelligent section of society can avail themselves of the Vedic instruction simply by studying the Mahabharata. यज्ञस्य च वितानानि योगस्य च पथः प्रभो नैष्कर्म्यस्य च सांख्यस्य तंत्रं वा भगवत् स्मृतम्. Please also describe the expansions of different sacrifices, which means the various details of the various sacrifices and the paths of mystic powers, analytical study of knowledge, and devotional service with their respective regulations. Vitanani vistaran नैष्कर्म्यस्य च ज्ञानस्य तदुपायस्य च सांख्यस्य पथः मार्गान्. Tell me about jnana and the means to jnana, which is sankhya. This is the original sankhya, Vedic sankhya. Margan tantram cha iti arthaha varnashrama iti saptakam. There's a cluster of 7 verses beginning with the previous verse 29. Bhagavad Pratam Tantram Pancharatra Akhyam. Devotional service, all with their respective regulations, refers to the system of devotional service known as Pancharatra. Vitanani Vistaran, Yogasya Ashtangasya Pathaha Margan. Yogasya cha Pathaha refers to the pathways of Ashtanga Yoga. Naishkamyasya Jnanasya Tadupayasya Sankhyaśya cha Margan. Bhagavad Pratam Tantram Narada Pancharatram. And the devotional service that is referred to here specifically refers to Narada Pancharatram. Cha arthe va karaha. Here va has the meaning of as well as. The word tantram is significant here. Sometimes tantram is misunderstood to be the black spiritual science of materialistic persons. But here, tantram means the science of devotional service compiled by Srila Narada Muni. One can take advantage of such regulative explanations of the path of devotional service and make progressive advancement in the devotional service of the Lord. Sankhya philosophy is the basic principle of acquiring knowledge, as will be explained by the sage Maitreya. The Sankhya philosophy enunciated by Kapila Deva, the son of Devahuti, is the real source of knowledge about the supreme truth. Knowledge not based on this Sankhya philosophy is mental speculation and can yield no tangible profit. Okay. One minute. Wait. Bit of a confusion. Fine. Question.
So, as we were seeing, purport of verse 29. So, if Varnashram is not by birth, how it was prevalent even during Mahabharata time? They were saying Vidura is son of Shudrani. Karna was known as Sutputra, so he is also a Shudra. He was not allowed in Draupadi's Swayamvar. So it looks like that they are giving a lot of importance on birth and determining Varna by birth.
The default arrangement is by birth because childhood experience is the most influential experience in one's life. Even in Bhagavad Gita, we see in the 16th chapter, Krishna is talking about divine nature and demoniac nature. And he is saying these qualities are acquired from the time they are in the wombs of their mothers. So we talk of guna karma, but guna karma from the time of birth. Now, if I want to change my guna karma that I have assimilated at the time of birth, then I have to, and I need to upgrade my varna. The varnas, as higher you go, it requires more a mature understanding of how to lead a life, and it requires higher self-discipline. So if I have to upgrade my life, then definitely I need to work hard. I need to work hard. So previously the conception was very, very simple, that by default, the son of a Brahmana is a Brahmana. But there was also Jati Dharma. Jati Dharma means the son of a Kshatriya is given the training required to be a Kshatriya. The son of a Brahmana was given the training required to be a Brahmana. They would also follow the restrictions for sexual activity, because of which they attracted those types of souls who are fit to be their sons and followers in the same Varnic category. So when it comes to somebody like Karna, why Karna? We take even from Bhagavatam, we take. See, for instance, that Roma Harshana Sutta. Roma Harshana Sutta comes in 10th canto. Lord Balaram is visiting. Roma Harshana is speaking on the Puranas, and he does not respect Lord Balaram properly, because of which Lord Balaram chastises him, and in fact he kills him. When he chastises him, one of the first things he says is, he's a Sutta. He's after all a Sutta. Viloma. He's Pratiloma. He's not born. He's born from a inferior mixed combination of parents. Marriages, marital common. First of all, one should maintain celibacy outside marital relationships, and marital relationships are first class when the man and woman belong to the same varna by guna karma. If the man's guna karma is superior to the woman's guna karma, it is second class combination. So this is mixture, but it is a superior mixture actually, because the man's guna karma is higher than the woman's guna karma. And if the woman's guna karma is higher than the man's guna karma by varna, then this is an inferior mixture. This is a third class combination. So Roma Harshana was born from a third class combination. And Lord Balaram, he referred to it. So when you commit an offense, then your birth is immediately brought into consideration. So Karna, he was referred to as a son of a charioteer, son of a carpenter, like that, by Draupadi and others. That is because he was taking the side of Duryodhana, opposing Lord Krishna, and so on. Vidura, after Vidura died, he was given something like a Brahmameda Samskara. There's a particular method by which you honor Brahmanas by cremating them. There was an Akashavani to that effect. There was an Abhovani, an instruction from the skies that said that Vidura should be honored, Vidura's body should be honored like that. So Vidura was extraordinary. Therefore, he was, even though he was born in a Shudra family, because he was fully self-realized, therefore, he was allowed to become an Acharya of the Dhritarashtra. Baladev Vidyabhushana already mentioned this in his first canto commentary. So there are particular situations where one can go higher than one's birth-based consideration, but we need to earn it. Even Prabhupada, he says in one of the purports that if you chant offenselessly, then you can become a Brahmana, even if you are not born as a Brahmana. But if you do not chant offenselessly and you do not factually upgrade your Varna, then it becomes a problem. It does become a problem. In today's ISKCON, they are beginning to think about these things, and I think it is correct that they are thinking of these things. I personally think that Brahmana initiation should be given not just by the decision between the Guru and the Shishya and the temple president. There should be some other larger body which decides whom should be given Brahman initiation. Just like sannyas is not just given by agreement between the sannyas guru and sannyas shishya. There's a larger mechanism which decides who should be given. So these things are all being considered nowadays. Dharmatma Prabhu.
I have to make a comment. Modern Dharmdhajis and the supporter of those who claim that the Varna should be from the birth. First of all, for how many generations, if somebody is Brahman, for how many generations they are not following? So how somebody just takes birth in that caste can be called Brahman? Their fathers did not follow. Their grandfathers did not follow. So they can't be called Brahma Bandhus also. What to say about the Brahmanas? So it is just nonsense in current situation.
There is one academic scholar who's been trying to analyze this in Chandigarh or somewhere. And he has also pointed out that when it goes beyond, I think, 7 generations or something, then it's considered really off, completely off. So now 7 generations means from now 7 generations up means say the beginning of 1800s or something like that. By that time, the British already had started contaminating the culture of India. So things are not very, very clear whether the purity is being maintained. In the scriptures, there are plenty of restrictions. No? Garbhadana Samskar, nobody follows it. Garbhadana Samskar is not some ceremony or some yagya and all that. It means that first of all, you do not engage in any sexual activity with anyone other than one's wife, and with one's wife only for the purpose of having a child. And for that, there is a ceremony to invite the right type of soul. It is common knowledge in today's ISKCON that if you try to do things like that, then you end up in a divorce. Okay, 31. Pashanda patha vaishamyam pratiloma nivesanam jivasya gatayo yascha yavatir gunakarmajah. Please also describe the imperfections and contradictions of the faithless atheists, the situation of crossbreeding and the movements of the living entities in various species of life according to their material modes of nature and work. Pakhandanam panthaha pravritihi tadeva vaishamyam. The very path of the faithless atheists is self-contradictory. Prati lomnam suta adinam niveshanam samsthapanam. The situation of crossbreeding. This means when you have all these kinds of combinations of men and women, and you have children born through this crossbreeding. Crossbreeding refers to what I was mentioning. Anuloma, pratiloma, and so on. Here specifically, the placement of pratiloma is brought out. Pratiloma is the 3rd class marital combination. And then the children, they are given particular occupations. So Suta is a particular occupation. Pashanda pathat pashanda margataha hetoho yad vaishamyam pratilomnam Suta adinam niveshanam samsthapanam. How can we inspire our devotees to follow such strict rules for Garbhadana Samskar? When we are pure, and those who want to be pure will feel like following all of these things. For that, they need to live in a temple-like atmosphere. They need to be Brahmanas, first of all. They need to be Brahmanas. These restrictions are for Brahmanas, actually. The combination of living entities in different modes of material nature is called crossbreeding. The faithless atheists do not believe in the existence of God, and thus their paths of philosophy are contradictory. Atheistic philosophies never agree with one another. Different species of life are evidence of varieties of mixtures of the modes of material nature. 52. Dharmartha kama mokshanam nimittanya vartaya dandanitescha shrutasya cha vidhim prithak. You may also describe the non-contradictory causes of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and salvation. And also the different means of livelihood and processes of law and order mentioned in the revealed scriptures. This Vidvan Sarsi Thakur has given a long explanation about Pancharatra that came in a previous verse, given various quotations from different authorities, including Jiva Goswami, Bhakti Sandarbha, Mahabharata. This is all because Shankaracharya has attacked the Pancharatra system. So therefore, he gives all this detailed information about the authenticity of the Pancharatrika scriptures. Regarding Pratiloma, he says, Vaigunya Janmanaha Purvaka Uttaraha Pratilomataha Manusamita Dashamadhyay Drashtavya. This is all considered to be inferior births. And he recommends that the 10th chapter of Manusamhita be consulted. For instance, the combination of a Kshatriya man and a Brahmana woman, these are all known as Pratiloma combinations. The man's Varna is higher, the woman's Varna is lower. There are 6 types of Pratilomas. These are all called the Sankaras. There's one subcategory of Varna Sankara, actually. Chandala, Suta, Vaideha, Ayogava, Magadha, Kshatta. These are all different combinations. For the current one, okay. Nimittani upayan paraspara avirodhena. The means by which one can attain religiosity. Religiosity means religious piety. Economic development means wealth. Sense gratification means sense enjoyment. Salvation means liberation. The means by which, without contradicting any of these 4, you can attain all 4. It means not that you endeavor for wealth in such a manner that sense gratification is stopped, or you endeavor for sense gratification in such a way that you cannot attain wealth, or you attain wealth and sense enjoyment, but you don't have pious credits. So all 4 needs to be attained. So life has to be lived in such a manner that none of these 4 are contradicted. Nimittani upayan paraspara virodhena vataya. The different means of livelihood. Krishi, Vanijya Adi Shastrasya. Different means of livelihood according to the scriptural teachings on Krishi, agriculture, Vanijya, trade, and so on. Dandanitehe, Arthashastrasya, Shrutasya, Vedashastrasya. Dandanite refers to the Arthashastra, the scriptures which teach law and order. Shrutasya, or of the codes of scriptures, refers to the Veda Shastra, scriptures, the 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, Sama Veda. 33. Shraddhasya cha vidhim brahman pitrinam sargameva cha grahan nakshatra taranam kala vayava samstitim. Please also explain the regulations for offering respects to the forefathers, the creation of the Pitriloka, and the time schedule on the planets, stars, and luminaries along with their respective situations. Why this is not? Okay. Grahadinam kalachakre samsthitim. The time schedule of the planets, stars, and luminaries refers to the situation of these grahas in Kala Chakra, which we'll come across in the 5th canto. Kala avayave dinaratri masa varsha adav samsthite. And that is connected to uh, the timing of days, nights, months, seasons, and so on, years, and so on. The duration of days, nights, months, and years is different on the different planets, stars, and luminaries. The higher planets like the Moon and Venus have time measurements different from those on the Earth. It is said that 6 months on this planet Earth equal 1 day on the higher planets. In the Bhagavad Gita, the duration of 1 day on Brahmaloka is measured to be 1,000 times the 4 yugas, or 4,320,000. No, yes, 4,320,000 years multiplied by 1,000. And the month and year on Brahmaloka are calculated according to that measure. 34. Danasya tapaso vapi yacheshta purtayo phalam pravastastasya yo dharmo yascha pumsa utapadi. Please also describe the fruitive results of charity and penance and of digging reservoirs of water. Please describe the situation of persons who are away from home and also the duty of a man in an awkward position. Here, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he has said, Ishta, Agnishtoma Adi Yag. Ishta refers to the endeavor to engage in Agnishtoma and similar sacrificial performances. Purta refers to Vapi Koop or Tadag Khanan. It refers to digging reservoirs of water. I think Prabhupada will bring it up here. The digging of reservoirs of water for public use is a great work of charity, and retiring from family life after 50 years of age is a great act of penance performed by the sober human being. Pravasasthasya dharmaha. This is Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur quotes about Urta. Shatena dhanurvih pushrini tribih shatai nirgika chaturbir drona panchabis tadaga drona dashaguna vapi. They're talking about different sizes of different reservoirs of water. Pushkarini, Dirghika, Drona, Tadaga, Vapi, these are all correspondingly larger reservoirs of water. And these are all considered very important pious activities. In Mayapur, we should have all these things. 35. Yenava Bhagavams Tushye Dharma Yonir Janardana Samprasidati Va Yesham Etadakyaki Menaka. How sinless one. Because the personality of Godhead, the controller of all living entities, is the father of all religion and all those who are candidates for religious activities. Kindly describe how he can be completely satisfied. Yena margena santushya. By which path will he be satisfied? Anartha Darshini. एवं परावरेषां भगवन् व्रतानि श्रुतानि इति युक्तेः व्यासमुखात् प्रायः ज्ञातानाम् अपि येषां ज्ञेयवस्तुमात्रे एव नैरपेक्ष अर्थं स्वभीष्टं विचित्सितं पृच्छति येन इति. All of these things were already learnt by Vidura from the mouth of Vyasadeva himself. This was already noted earlier. So almost all of this is known to Vidura. Only thing that he needs to know and which he very much wants to know is about the object of realization. And that is required for becoming a nirapeksha, for becoming indifferent to all activities other than devotional service to the Lord. Va shabdaha tu arthe sarvesham yonih karanam janardanaha. Janardana is the cause of everything. Sakama bhaktan kaman yachayan napi ityarthaha. He is the one who is the shelter for all the Sakama bhaktas. So, what can they do by which Bhagavan is satisfied with them? The ones who are asking for the fulfillment of various material desires. Yadva Shuddha Bhaktan Prema Utthena Anutapena Pidayan Yesham Va iti Kramena Tat Prasadasya Sadhanam Kim. Otherwise, it can refer to the pure devotees. What can be the activity or the pursuit by which the Lord will be satisfied and would grant them prema bhakti tatra adhikarinaha cha kidrishaha tan me kathaya. Tell me, how are they all qualified in this manner? Tell me about that. The pure devotees of the Lord are in transcendental feelings of separation from Him. So how can all of them be, how can they satisfy the Supreme Lord? All religious activities are meant ultimately to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is the father of all religious principles, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7.16. Four kinds of pious men: the needy, the distressed, the enlightened, and the inquisitive approach the Lord in devotional service, and their devotion is mixed with material affection. But above them are the pure devotees whose devotion is not tainted by any material tinges of fruitive work or speculative knowledge. Those who are only miscreants throughout their lives are compared to demons. This is a reference to 7.16 and 7.15 respectively. They are bereft of all knowledge in spite of any academic educational career they may pursue. Such miscreants are never candidates for satisfying the Lord. Yes.
Prabhu, these four categories who approach the Lord, so two of them, it's easy to understand that they are mixed with material affection, artha, artharthi. And Jigyasu and Gyani, can you please explain like how they have material affection mixed in them?
The Jigyasus are the ones who have a desire to learn different things. They have a desire to learn many things. So they also pray to the Lord for His mercy to empower them by which they can study and understand various things. The Jnani, even Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says it has two meanings. One is just a namesake Jnani. He is actually a pure devotee of the Lord, because pure devotees of the Lord are not in ignorance. They are referred to as Jnani. Or else it refers to those who want impersonalistic realization. Since the process of attaining impersonal realization is called jnana, these persons are referred to as jnanis. But they also need to pray to the Supreme Lord for His mercy. And only after He grants His mercy, they can attain even that impersonalistic realization. The pure devotees of the Lord who are also referred to as jnanis in the higher sense, they simply want to attain pure love for him, prema bhakti. This is how they are all classified. Okay, we move on. 36. अनुव्रतानां शिष्याणां पुत्राणां च द्विजोत्तम अनापृष्टमपि ब्रूयुर् गुरवो दीनवत्सलाः. O best among the brahmanas, those who are spiritual masters are very kind to the needy. They're always kind to their followers, disciples, and sons. And without being asked by them, the spiritual master describes all that is knowledge. Anaprishtam api, mad yogyam vaktavyam iti bhava. The implication is, whatever I'm fit to know, even if I have not asked you about it, please tell me about it. Swa abhishtam api prashtavyam aham na janami. I don't even know what I'm supposed to ask you. Even about things which are very dear to me. Ataha tatra bhavanta eva kripaya kathayantu. So your grace should kindly describe about these things also. Nityaha anuvratana vidijatyartha shakya. There are many subjects to be known from the bona fide spiritual master. The followers, disciples, and sons are all on one level for the bona fide spiritual master. And he's always kind to them and always speaks to them on transcendental subjects, even on those about which they do not ask him. That is the nature of the bona fide spiritual master. Vidura appealed to Maitreya Muni to speak on subjects about which he might not have asked. 57. Tattvana bhagavam stesham katidha pratisankramaha tatremam ka upasiran ka usvid danusherate. Please describe how many dissolutions there are for the elements of material nature and who survives after the dissolutions to serve the Lord while he is asleep. Pratisankramaha pralayah. Tatra pralaye imam parameshwaram shayanam rajanamiva chamaragrahinaha eva anusherate shayanam anusopanti. Just as when a king goes to sleep, then there are those who hold fans and who fan him. So who are the ones who are not part of, who survive after dissolution? That means they are not affected by dissolution and they are serving the Lord. Tattvanamiti tatra teshu pralayeshu prakriti paryanteshu. Here the pralayas refer to all kinds of pralayas up to the dissolution of material nature itself. Anena parshadana nityatvam eva abhipretam. From this it is understood that the associates of the Lord are eternal, because they are the ones who are serving the Lord even at the time of dissolution. Taduktam Kashi Khande. This is stated in Kashi Khanda. Nachavante hi yad bhaktam hatyam pralayapadi. Atochito khile loke. The Lord's devotees, they do not fall even at the time of the critical great dissolution. Therefore, it is Lord Achyuta alone who is inexhaustible and who is all pervading in this entire world. Anusherate, deenaha tishtante. Who get merged in, who survive. Sadhana bhaktim prishtva sadhya bhaktehi nityatve vipratipatim nirasyan pralayam prichyati. He has asked about sadhana bhakti. And now he disposes of the controversy that sadhya bhakti, bhakti as the goal, prema bhakti, is eternal by asking about pralaya. प्रतिसंक्रमः प्रलयः तत्र प्रलये इमं परमेश्वरं शयानं राजानमेव चामरग्राहिण के उपासेरन् के वा अनुशेदते शयानम् अनुस्वपन्ति श्री स्वामिचरणः तेन भगवत्पार्षदानां तद्भक्तेः तल्लोकस्य च नित्यत्वाभिप्रेतम्. So the commentary of Sri Sridhar Swami here indicates that the associates of Bhagavan, as well as the devotees of Bhagavan, as well as the worlds of Bhagavan, are eternal. अतएव न चवन्ते च यद्भक्ता महत्यां प्रलयापदि इति प्रसिद्धं काशीखण्ड वचनम. Therefore, there is this famous statement of Kashikhanda which has been quoted here. In the Brahma Samhita 5.47 to 48, it is said that all the material manifestations with innumerable universes appear and disappear with the breathing of Mahavishnu lying in Yoga Nidra or mystic sleep. Yah karana namachale bhajate sma yoga nidram ananta jagadanda saroma kupaha आधार शक्तिम अवलंब्य पराम स्वमूर्तिम गोविंदमादि पुरुषम तमहम भजामि यस्यैक निश्वसित कालमथावलंब्य जीवन्ति लोम विलजा जगदण्डनाथा विष्णुर्महाशेयस्य कला विशेषो गोविंदमादि पुरुषम तमहम भजामि. By his own internal potency, Govinda, the ultimate and supreme personality of God, Lord Krishna, lies sleeping unlimitedly on the causal ocean in order to create unlimited numbers of universes during that sleep. I worship that original supreme personality, that original supreme Godhead. Due to his breathing, innumerable universes come into existence, and when he withdraws his breath, there occurs the dissolution of all the lords of the universes. That plenary portion of the Supreme Lord is called Mahavishnu, and he is a part of Lord Krishna, Govinda, the original Lord whom I worship. After the dissolution of the material manifestations, the Lord and his kingdom beyond the causal ocean do not disappear, nor do the inhabitants, the Lord's associates. The associates of the Lord are far more numerous than the living entities who have forgotten the Lord due to material association. The imperfect explanation of the word aham in the 4 verses of the original Bhagavatam. This is a reference to the Chatushloki. Aham eva sameva agre, etc. is refuted here. The Lord and his eternal associates remain after the dissolution. Vidura's inquiry about such persons is a clear indication of the existence of all the paraphernalia of the Lord. This is confirmed in the Kashi-khanda of the Skanda Purana as quoted by both Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, who follow in the footsteps of Srila Sridhar Swami. Na chavante hi adbhakta mahatyam pralayapadi atochito khile loke sa ekas sarvagovyaya. The devotees of the Lord never annihilate their individual existences even after the dissolution of the entire cosmic manifestation. The Lord and the devotees who associate with him are always eternal in both the material and spiritual worlds. 1 minute. Krishna, Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has 38. पुरुषस्य च संस्थानं स्वरूपं वा परस्य च ज्ञानं च नैगमं यत्तत् गुरुशिष्य प्रयोजनम्. What are the truths regarding the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What are their identity? What are the specific values in the knowledge in the Vedas? This is reference to the Upanishads actually. And what are the necessities for the spiritual master and his disciples? Guru Shishya Prayojanam. Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. पुरुषस्य संस्थानं जीवस्य तत्त्वं परस्य सर्वेश्वरस्य च स्वरूपं वा येन अंशेन तयोः ऐक्यम् तथा यत् गुरुशिष्य प्रयोजनं नैगमम् औपनिषदं ज्ञानं च तच्च ब्रूहि इति उत्तरेण अन्वयः. Please tell me about the nature of the Purusha, which means the Jivatma, and the Para, the Supreme Lord. Tell me about their nature. tell me in what way they are one. That's the implication. And tell me about the knowledge of the Upanishads, which is required for the Guru and the Shishya. So this is another meaning of this verse. जीव तत्व परमेश्वरे स्वरूपो तद उभये जे अंशे ऐक्य वर्तमान एवं उपनिषद उक्त ज्ञान जहा गुशिष्य प्रयोजनीयता ताहाओ कीर्तन करो. Please also describe the truth of the jiva, the nature of the Supreme Lord, and in what aspect they are equal. Please also describe the knowledge spoken in the Upanishads. Please also speak about the need for a guru and shishya. Purushasya samsthanam jivasya tattvam parameshwarasya swarupam yenamshena tayoraikyam. This is the meaning already I told you. तथा ज्ञानम च नैगमम औपनिषदम उपासकस्य पुरुषस्य संस्थानम सम्यक् प्रकारेण कीदृशी स्थितिः तत्त्वं. What is the sthiti or the situation or the truth pertaining to the upasaka, the worshipper? This is the Purusha, the Jivatma. Please tell this clearly. This is wrong. Not Kidri, it's Kidrishi. Kidrishi. तथा उपास्यस्य परस्य परमेश्वरस्य च स्वरूपम्. Please also tell me about the nature of the Supreme Lord. Who is the object of worship? So you have the worshipper and you have the object of worship, the worshipped. तथा उपासनायाः च ज्ञानं निगमोक्तम्. Please also tell me about upasana itself, the worship itself, as the knowledge of worship which is actually spoken in the nigamas, in the scriptures. Yad guru shishiyo prayojanam mattaha sakashat shishita ayam janato gurutah sakashad aham bhaktim janiyam iti etat lakshanam. The need of the guru and shishya, the needs of the guru and shishya refers to this. What should the guru consider? My disciple should learn this from me, or rather, what should the shishya learn from the guru? Similarly, the disciple should have the idea that I should learn bhakti. Tasya nimittani satsanga adini. You should also know about association with the saintly authorities by which these things come about. The living entities are constitutionally servitors of the Lord, who can accept all kinds of service from everyone. It is clearly declared, 5.29, that the Lord is the supreme enjoyer of the benefits of all sacrifices and penances, the proprietor of all that is manifested, and the friend of all living entities. That is his real identity. Therefore, when the living entity accepts the supreme proprietorship of the Lord and acts in that attitude, he resumes his real identity. In order to elevate the living entity to this standard of knowledge, that is the necessity of spiritual association. The bona fide spiritual master desires that his disciples know the process of rendering transcendental service to the Lord. And the disciples also know that they have to learn about the eternal relationship between God and the living entity from a self-realized soul. To disseminate transcendental knowledge, one must retire from mundane activities on the strength of enlightenment in knowledge in terms of Vedic wisdom. That is the sum and substance of all the questions in this verse. So, Siddhanta Sarkar reports from Mundaka Upanishad. Tad vijnanartham sad gurumeva vigachet samit pani shrotriyam brahmanishtham. In order to know about the nature of the Supreme Being, one should certainly approach a guru with fuel in his hand. Fuel in his hand means with because the guru is expected to be engaged in various activities of sacrifice to Lord Vishnu. So the disciple or the one who wants to become a disciple, the prospective disciple, should actually have in his hand the fuel for the sacrificial fire for the guru. The guru is also described Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. He should be absorbed in the Shruti scriptures that describe Vidvan, and he should be fixed in that supreme being. Chandogya also he goes. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. A man who has an acharya, he understands reality. Shvetashvatar also. Yasya deve parabhaktar yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite katha hi artha prakashante mahatmanaha. Then he quotes other verses from 7th canto, 5th chapter, and 11th canto also. तस्मात् गुरुं प्रपद्येत जिज्ञासुश्रेय उत्तमं शाब्दे परे च निष्णातं ब्रह्मन् विभत्समाश्रयम्. Then 39. निमित्तानि च तस्येह प्रोक्तान्यानघ सूरिभिः स्वतो ज्ञानं कुतः पुंसां भक्तिर्वैराग्यमेव वा. Spotless devotees of the Lord have mentioned the source of such knowledge. How could one have knowledge of devotional service and detachment without the help of such devotees? This is what Vishnu Chakravarti deals with. Tasya nimittani satsanga adini. The source of such knowledge are the spotless devotees of the association with spotless devotees of the Lord itself. Okay, I'll stop with this. Let me put a note. Nine. Okay. Panchnaga Buddha Vishnu Vasant Vijay Vachavattana Bhavane Pyo Vishnu Pyo Namaha.